are some of your biggest accomplishments?
I guess my biggest accomplishment probably in life, and I guess we was taught this from our mothers and fathers. I've become independent. I left home when I was probably 17 and a half years old. 17 and a half years old. And I've become independent. Basically, I never asked my mother or father for nothing from that point on. I went to, except for college. I did go to college for 2.5 years. But I left home, went to Washington, D.C. I went to Indianapolis. I went here, and I did it the hard way. I did it on my own. But I never had to ask for them because my mother and father raised me. They raised 14 children. And the mistakes I made and the things I did was on me. So, but the biggest accomplishment was, I guess, I became independent. And I think I have taught that independence for my children. I think I taught them early, and my mother taught me this: if you ever get in trouble, don't call me. You got yourself in trouble, but don't call me. I went to jail. They never knew I went to jail. I would never have called my mother if I had a car wreck or whatever. I never called my mother or father and let them know where I was at, what I was in trouble with. But I guess my biggest comfort was my getting independence. I went to work in Washington, D.C. for a little while. I went to work in Indianapolis and worked there for 33 years, close to 33 years. I went from a small trucking job to a tool and die maker, from the lowest job in the plant to the highest job in the plant, except for management. I'm talking about hourly. So I raised my children. I raised 3 children while I was married with my first wife, Bobby. I raised them, and I give her credit for most of their moral strength. During that time, I was not a Christian. I did not teach them morals. They got it from my mother. They're my wife, Bobby. She took them to church and she taught it to them. I didn't teach it to them because I did not live a godly life. I did just the opposite of what I should do as a father. But one thing I did teach them was that independence, not to depend on me. I guess I got that from my mother. Don't depend on me, and they couldn't afford it. But if I didn't teach them independence, they would never learn it. But I think that's probably my biggest accomplishment, was making sure that they didn't have to depend on me or the government to support them the rest of their life. If they didn't get dependent when they was young, they would be that way to the rest of their life, depending on something, the government or somebody. And I'm proud they all have made a good living to this day.